Welcome back. Today, we are unpacking something absolutely beautiful in this explainer. We're going to deconstruct the rich, sensory lyrics of a cinematic pop folk song called The Taste of Morning. It's kind of like a masterclass in intimate, nostalgic songwriting, all wrapped up in these gorgeous, subtle Scandinavian folk influences. The whole thing is driven by this incredibly expressive male vocal, but honestly, it's the words themselves that do the heavy lifting here. It's a journey about aging, about deep, lifelong friendship, and the absolute raw power of memory. I am so excited to take you through this lyrical landscape today. But before we look at how this specific songwriter pulls off time travel, I want you to think about your own sensory time machines. Has a sudden scent, maybe it's a specific brand of perfume, the smell of old paperbacks, or a whiff of wood smoke, has that ever just hit you out of nowhere and completely transported you? Literally, 1 second, you're just going about your day, and the very next, boom, you are entirely swallowed up by a memory from decades ago. That visceral, almost shocking experience of time travel, that's exactly the psychological phenomenon this song nails. Right away, we hit this lyric sitting quietly in the pre-chorus, and it is our main hook. It goes one single breath, fresh coffee in the mountain air, and 25 years disappear. It instantly sets up the core mechanic of the entire song. We see exactly how a single, super specific scent acts as a bridge, just ripping the narrator completely backward through time. And it isn't some long, drawn-out reminiscence, right? It's instant. It's the immediate disappearance of a quarter century, all triggered by one single breath of coffee. Crazy, right? All right, moving into part one, the weight of time. To really wrap our heads around the impact of that massive sensory memory, we first got to understand the present day. We start our thematic journey where the song begins, grounded in the heavy, sometimes exhausting reality of right now. In the first verse, we get hit with these early realities of adulthood. Different towns, different names on doors. We're learning to smile through broken plans and trying to shake up the world with tired hands. It's heavy stuff. But as we move into verse 2, the whole tone shifts from that initial struggle into this beautiful acceptance. They've carried stories no one knew, navigating small victories and impossible truths. The lyrics are basically showing us that, yeah, life changes, roads and dreams fade out, but those same experiences forge a deep, quiet kind of resilience. Which brings us to section 2, a sensory time machine. So the lyrics anchor us geographically at the mountain above the Sogne Fjord. And this isn't just some random spot on a map. The Sogne Fjord is this majestic, absolutely massive mountainous fjord in Norway. By putting the memory right here, the songwriter is using this grand, silent, almost eternal backdrop to frame what is actually an intensely intimate connection between these characters. The landscape is totally vast, but our focus is pulled in incredibly tight. It's a place where silence spoke much louder than words. Now, check out how the writer uses a tiny micro-element to unlock this huge macro-level significance. Against the gigantic backdrop of a Norwegian fjord with literally half the world below them, the songwriter narrows our entire focus down to just one old kettle and the morning rising from the ground. I mean, that is just a masterstroke in songwriting. You don't need to spell out 25 years of history, you just need the kettle. That simple, everyday object is the anchor that secures an entire era of their lives, making the memory of that coffee taste, as the song says, like forever. Okay, let's head into section 3, the mountain above Sognefjord. Here, the bridge asks a really profound question. What if memories don't actually live in old photographs? Pay attention to how the songwriter layers these physical sensations to completely rebuild the past. They tell us memories wait inside familiar footsteps, they wait inside a ferry crossing, inside cold northern wind, and ultimately, inside the smell of freshly ground coffee. It's this cascading sequence of sensory details. The writer is literally stacking sensations one on top of the other, pulling us deeper and deeper into the physical reality of that mountain. By the end of it, we practically feel that cold wind and smell that coffee right alongside the narrator. Let's look at section 4, scars, victories, and brotherhood. Now that we've got a handle on the setting and those sensory triggers, let's shift gears and look at the interpersonal dynamics baked into these lyrics. The number 3 is everywhere in this song. It's basically the heartbeat of the whole narrative. In verse 1, we get 3 young voices still recall. In the first chorus, it's 3 backpacks. Second chorus, 3 shadows. And in the final chorus, 3 friends. That repetition is definitely no accident. It hammers home this idea of an unbreakable, lifelong brotherhood. It's this unified front against the relentless passage of time. They aren't just individuals, they're a trio, moving through all those years together as one collective memory. And the crucial takeaway here is how elegantly the lyrics contrast the physical toll of aging with the completely effortless communication of true friends. On the physical side, time definitely leaves its mark, right? We hear gray finds our hair, tired hands, and some scars still show. But then, look at the unspoken side. They share stories no one knew. It's a place where silence spoke much louder, and a simple look was all they needed to see, the things we didn't need to speak. It illustrates a bond so incredibly deep that it just bypasses language entirely. Their bodies might be showing the mileage, sure, but their connection, that doesn't require any translation at all. And that brings us to this super poignant realization from verse 2, which is honestly one of the most striking lines in the entire song. Yet every mile we walked today found the boys we gave away. Wow. It shows us exactly how the simple physical act of returning to this mountain, actually walking those miles together all over again, helps these men reclaim their youthful spirits. Those boys they gave away to adulthood, to endless responsibilities, to all those broken plans, turns out they were just waiting for them, all along, right there on that mountain path. Finally, we arrive at section 5, Brighter Tomorrows Through Yesterday. This emotional timeline basically maps the entire arc of our explainer today. We kick things off in the present day, dealing with the heavy reality of gray hair and tired hands. Then we got instantly transported 25 years backward through that visceral sensory memory to 3 backpacks and a single horizon. But here's the beautiful part. The song doesn't just stay stuck in the past. It actually uses that past as a launchpad into a transformed, deeply hopeful future, where tomorrow is looking far brighter than it did before. Just look closely at this specific lyric from the final chorus. The narrator explicitly says, "Take me back. Not because yesterday was better, but because it reminds me who I have always been." Guys, this is massive. It proves that their nostalgia isn't about just trying to escape reality or wishing they were kids again. Not at all. It's about using their past as a mirror to rediscover their core identities. It's a super active, empowering kind of nostalgia. It reminds them of their foundation, which is exactly what gives them the strength to turn around and face the future. As the outro gently fades out, we are left with this gorgeously cinematic image. We'll walk back down, a little older, still laughing, still brothers. They are descending the mountain, heading right back into their regular lives, but they are forever changed by making the trip. They totally acknowledge the passage of time. Yeah, they are a little older, but the absolute core of who they are, that remains completely untouched. They're still laughing. They're still brothers. That coffee tasted like forever, and honestly, this morning, so did they. So, the songwriter showed us how something as simple as an old kettle and a cold northern wind reconnected 3 friends with their truest, most authentic selves. I want to leave you with this final thought to chew on. If a single memory can remind you who you've always been, what memory is waiting for you to find it? What sensory anchor is hiding out there in your own life right now, just waiting to erase the years and bring you back home? Keep your eyes and your nose open for those moments. Thanks for joining me for this explainer, and I'll catch you next time.